Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Joanna, the Medium channel, and I'm Joanna. I am your medium and also an intuitive coach. These are going to be your general messages for September 2017. Few things before we go into your reading. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who have been my loyal viewers, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much for purchasing your private sessions. I can't thank you enough. And I do what I do because I love helping all of you. So thank you so much. For those of you who are new, I hope that you find what you like here. Perhaps you were guided by a fluke to come to this channel, and hopefully the messages that you hear will resonate with you on some level. Because these messages are general, they will not resonate with all of you. And sometimes they will not resonate with you at all. Sometimes certain parts will resonate with you, and sometimes the whole message will resonate with you. And from my experience over the last almost 2 years of doing these videos, what I'm getting from you is that they're substantially turn out to be quite personal for you, and I love hearing that. But if you want a private session, of course, that information is down below for you. And for those of you who are getting back to me and asking me questions pertaining to the general message readings, I cannot get back to you and I cannot answer your questions because these are general. So it's impossible for me to tune in to every single individual. And even if someone does connect with me and ask me a question about a video or message in a video, it's impossible for me to get that information. Also, for information or for videos that are long term, you can of course go to my Vimeo On Demand page, where I have videos from July until the end of this year posted. That information is also down below for you. Also, on Monday, September the 4th, on my show, radio show, I will be interviewed by my beautiful friend Stephanie. She was on the show previously, and she's going to throw questions my way. I have no idea what they are. This is a complete surprise for me as far as what the content of her questions are. So stay tuned. This is going to be an exciting show because I have absolutely nothing as far as prep time. It's just going to be what it's going to be. So tune in. And for those of you who can't tune in, that show will be posted. I will post it on this channel, so it will be available for you to listen down the road. The information on the show, if you want to listen to it live, is also down below. And if you want to book a private session, there is a icon that will appear to you right there at the top, or there's information regarding my booking or the way to book appointments. Also, that information is down below for you. And you can see the name at the bottom of the screen, joannathemedium.com. You can go into my website or to my website and contact me from there. And last but not least, I am expanding, I am changing. Spirit is pushing me in a new direction, a more expanded direction. So over the next few months, you will see a lot of changes to my site, a lot of changes to the way I work, huge additions that will benefit you. So over the next few weeks, I will post a video on what those changes will be. And it's exciting for me because it's going to be offering a lot more services for you. So stay tuned. And I think that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for liking, sharing, for subscribing. I hope you like these videos, and let's go on and start your reading for September. Stay tuned. Hello Pisces, welcome to your September 2017 intuitive reading. I have 4 cards actually for you. Let me just turn down the music a little bit. 2 cards popped out and I was told to keep it, so we will talk about that. And then 2 additional cards from 2 additional decks, 2 different decks. So your energy is very interesting. When I was connecting with you guys, sign of Pisces, moon, sun, or rising, the words completion kept coming up. But the thing that was interesting the most, my guide actually said, write 1/2, like 1/2 of something. I'm like, why should I write 1/2? He says, just write 1/2. And the moment I wrote 1/2, it started to flow. And it seems for many of you, you are in a process of completion or completing something in your life where you are, as a result of seeking freedom or going towards greater freedom, you are detaching yourself or decluttering your life through various ways in order to start something new. So the imagery I had and the information that I was receiving is that many of you will be dividing your time, your priorities, and your resources in different into different avenues. Some of this may be because you are allocating your resources to different components or different buckets, if you will. I don't know how to say it. As a result of planning for something in the future. Some of you will be dividing assets, and division of assets was shown to me and said to me very clearly several times. So some of you, for whatever reason, are going to go through division of assets. Now, how, when do we go through division of assets? There's various situations that warrant that. Some of the the obvious ones are detaching from a relationship of some sort, whether it will be a relationship because of a breakup, whether it be a business constitution that you are detaching yourself from, whether you are removing yourself from a certain environment, things are moving apart. That will warrant division of assets. The other thing that's coming to me is wills and estates. Someone who has had an estate and they're no longer with us, that is connected to division of assets as well. And this is not a prediction of somebody passing. This is something that transpired. This is about you, whoever you are, going through the process of division of assets. Obviously, divorce would entail that. We talked about somebody passing away, so wills and estates. There's other various situations that will warrant this. The other thing I kept seeing is that you will be splitting your resources into different piles. And I don't know what the piles are. Actually, what are the piles? So it has to do with the effectiveness of your money or your resources. You may be allocating your money into different buckets depending where you allocated that money or that resource is going to get you something down the road. And I don't know how else to explain it other than you're putting your resources or money into different piles, and each pile will have its own not agenda, but it'll have its own purpose. This could be, as an example, putting money away for college, putting money away for your children, putting money away for a major purchase like a house or a car, putting money away for savings for retirement. There is division of assets, and there is you splitting resources into different piles from for various different reasons. Some of this could be that you are giving money away, or you are sharing money between family members or friends or your kids, and you are splitting your resources and you are dividing your assets. The thing that I kept seeing a lot is that many of you are doing this as a process of decluttering and also detaching yourself from something or someone. So we detach ourselves from situations, we detach ourselves from people, we detach ourselves from certain way of being, certain way of seeing, certain way of thinking and understanding. So the detachment, but the detachment itself is allowing you to have a greater sense of freedom going forward. That is the best way that I can describe it. And for many of you, it'll translate through different circumstances, and the actual reasons behind it will be different for all of you. But there is that constant theme of dividing assets, putting money into different piles or resources into different piles. And also I'm seeing horses, so some of you might be allocating resources to a farm or animals, or there's something with horses for some of you, and I see this more like a ranch type scenario. So if there's something around horses, maybe you're allocating money to livestock. That just came to me. So that's not going to be obviously for all of you. It's going to be for very few of you. But there is certain freedom with what you are doing. The other thing that I kept seeing is the number 11, which is the tarot card Judgment. So it is quite possible that some of you are detaching yourself from a certain relationship, and I just got a headache. So this tells me that you are detaching yourself from a situation that is giving you, or that was giving you, a headache, a proverbial headache, and as a result you are going to be splitting assets, splitting your resources, dividing your assets, all that. So there is definitely a judgment component for some of you. For some of you, I hear this may be to do with a legal case, and as a result of a judgment, you will be required to divide your assets, or you will now know how to proceed. So there's definitely that going forward, or that for many of you. At the end of the day, I kept hearing, and many of you will be sharing. Some of you are just sharing your assets with others because, well, you just want to do that. But what I keep getting is that whatever is happening and whatever the division of assets is connected to, it is connected to you having a greater peace of mind going forward. The number 11 also to me signifies balance and stability, aside from being judgment and fairness. So there is a sense of you moving forward to a much more peaceful way of being within you, whether it's because you are detaching yourself from something or someone, or life just kind of pushed you in a certain direction, and you are now feeling like you have to declutter and get rid of things and give away things, perhaps because you feel like there is something within you that needs to be birthed. And I actually have the cards actually came up later, which is very interesting. So let's talk about the cards. So the month of September, when I asked for the overall energy, you have the 8 of Earth, or 8 of Pentacles, in reverse. Now, for those of you who know me a little bit, I don't read cards in a traditional tarot way. I kind of intuit what the card is showing to me. And what I see here, because it's in an Earth energy, it tells me a lot of the situations that you will be facing has to do with the world outside of you. So it's not an emotional component. It's more to do with possessions, money, can be with health, but also with people and relationships. And what I see here is that for those of you particularly who will be dividing assets or detaching yourself, it's a result of things not going your way, or things not going the right way, or things not going the way you have hoped for, or things are just started to go the wrong way. So again, this could be a detachment from a work environment. This could be I'm getting a headache. For whatever reason, I'm getting a headache. So some of you are getting a headache, or you're dealing with a headache. There is something that has been standing in your way of you living your full potential. That's what I'm hearing. And this something could be a circumstance, but also it could be a person. And maybe that's why you are detaching yourself from something. So it could be as drastic as divorce, or it could be as small. And when I mean small, I don't mean to minimize it. As you having, a spat with a friend, and you're not seeing eye to eye, and all of a sudden you decide to part ways. So it could be anything. When I asked what is next for you, or what is it that you're dealing with, the interesting thing came up. It's called unfinished business. So many of you are dealing, or will be dealing, with some unfinished business. Now, unfinished business could be things that you have put away, could be situations and decisions that your decision-making process that you have put away because you didn't want to deal with. It could also be dealing with something that comes to you just when you thought you were done with it and it was somewhere back in your background. It comes back to you to be dealt with because something was not finished. So the month of September is about clearing. It's about cleaning. It's about cleaning up, clearing out, decluttering, mending fences, which is mending fences. That's about repairing things and dealing with things that were previously put aside because they were either not comfortable to deal with or you just didn't want to be bothered with it. And some of those things will be coming up to surface in order to be finished. Now, when we have unfinished business, it almost always comes back to haunt us usually when we least expect it. So some of you may have an ex coming back to you, and all of a sudden this ex is going to be asking you for money. And that's just something that occurred to me. So this is going to be for some of you, obviously not for all of you, I hope. Some of you, you may have an ex-lover coming up to you or coming back to you and saying, hey, I'm single now. Do you want to get together? And many of you will be dealing with some unfinished business. Some of you, I'm hearing the word contracts. Some of you may have to deal with some unfinished contracts or contracts that have been, what's the word? Unresolved or unfinished. One of the things that just popped in here is some of you have unpaid tolls or unpaid tickets, and it's going to somehow find its way to you, and you're gonna have to pay up. So maybe that's why you're going to be allocating money to different resources. So that's that. But the next card you have, and they both popped together, is you have the card of new life. So again, many of you are starting fresh, are starting new. When I was connecting and talking about the channeled message, I kept seeing the symbol of completion. So it's interesting that September is the 9th month, and I've said this in other videos. I don't think that's a coincidence. I mean, yes, things end all the time, and in any month, but particularly with the month of September, and particularly because we have had so many energetic shifts, and a lot of us are being pushed into newness, which also implies we have to deal with the old in order to get a fresh start. So that will be different for different people. I'm hearing the word car. I don't know why I'm hearing the word car. So maybe some of you are getting a new car. Some of you have some decisions around purchasing a car. That's interesting. I'm seeing a vision of a car going to a a car doesn't work anymore and it's trash. It goes to a car that's then being smashed for metal. I don't know what that's called, but it's like, I'm going to call it a car cemetery. Don't laugh at me. Actually, you can laugh if you want, but that's the best way that I can describe it. So, and I don't know why I'm being shown this. I'm sure it's going to be just for, single person or a couple of people, but I'm seeing a vision of that. Let me just see if there's anything else. Yeah, starting new, starting fresh. New beginnings, new relationships, forming new friendships, forming new relationships. Some of you, there's an energy of coming in and you're going to get hooked on something or someone. And some of you have addictive behaviors, okay? So because I'm seeing this hook and hooking you and taking you with wherever the hook is going, one of the things I want to say is, for some of you, be careful not to fall prey to your old ways. So if you have tendency to attract certain relationships and you are detaching yourself from something that wasn't serving you anymore, going forward, make sure that when something presents itself to you and that gives you that feeling that something is not right, 9 times out of 10 something is not right. But for the most part, this card is very auspicious when it comes to forming new friendships, forming new relationships, starting new jobs, starting new careers. But many of you are going to be tying up loose ends in order to do this. So it's beautiful because 9th month, September, being endings, they did talk about tying loose ends and detaching, and now it's a message of, hey, yeah, you're leaving something, you're letting something go, but there's a brand new beginning. I keep hearing jobs. So for many of you, this is an auspicious month for applying for jobs or going on interviews, or letter. I'm hearing letter of recommendation. So maybe asking for letters of recommendation, maybe writing to someone, letter of recommendation for someone. But there's a lot of information here about possibilities around workforce, work environment, and job, which is also about money. Okay, and I hear the word benefits. So maybe some of you are going to get a new job, and as a result of your new job and benefits, you're going to be allocating your resources to different piles. So that's all great. The next card you have is a card of priorities. Okay, so this is an elephant sitting and holding a lily, I think it is. A lot of red, yellow, and purple in this card. So let me just tune in. Aside from the fact that this month is about focusing on what your priorities are and not getting bogged down with things that don't matter at the end of the day. So oftentimes we will clutter our minds and our world with SHIT that honestly doesn't really matter. It just doesn't matter. And if it was removed from us, we wouldn't even notice. But we do it. For whatever reason, we do it. So the fact that they talk about decluttering at the very beginning, and this card talks about priorities, it is serving as a double message with double impact by basically saying to you, be careful where you put your energy. Many of you are at a new beginning. Just, there's no glare here, okay? With that comes the knowing that you have an opportunity to have a brand new start or fresh new start in some aspect of your life. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get to the same old habits and do things and eventually find yourself in a same old. And that's why they were talking about the hook possibly coming to you and you making sure you don't get hooked on something that you've done before. Okay. The other thing I'm hearing with this card is listen to your intuition, listen to your inner voice. You will be guided. You are guided through this process. All of us are guided, whether we hear it or not, that's a different story, or whether we feel it or not, it's a different story. But what they're saying here, listen to your intuition. And if you don't know how, meditate on it. And just so I'm going to say this, and I say it every single time, meditation is not about not thinking at all. That is actually very challenging to accomplish. So do yourself a favor, try not to be empty, because the moment you try, that's when everything flows in and then we get frustrated. Meditate on something that is pleasant, meditate on something that feels good and give you good emotions, and eventually the answer will come. So meditate on feeling peaceful. Find yourself in a beautiful place, somewhere that speaks to you. I don't know, ocean. For some of you, it could be forest. Anything that an image evokes a certain feeling of peace. And all of us can do this in our mind and lose yourself in that memory. That is my prescription for meditation, always. And people get lost in it. But anyway, back to the point. Listen to your intuition. The orange here to me signifies that a lot of you will be dealing with matters of relationships and starting new, and focusing on the right relationships and getting rid of ones that don't serve you. So again, it's about decluttering. If you have a whole bunch of people around you that don't serve you in a positive way, do yourself a favor, get rid of them. Or tell the universe, I'm ready to let go of people that don't serve me, and just watch what happens. The other thing is learn to say no more often. Oftentimes, we will become pleasers in order to gain affection, gain acceptance, gain the sense of belonging. Whatever it is that we gain, that we want, we will often do it through the aspect of pleasing. And when we do that over and over and over again, at the end of the day, it doesn't work anyway, but you end up giving yourselves away, and there's nothing left for you. and resentment kicks in, and then, it's down the hill from there. So point is here, a lot of this will be to do with relationships, okay? And I hear focus on what is important to you. For some of you, interesting enough, I'm seeing someone playing a guitar. So maybe someone needs to, maybe you've had the inkling of wanting to express yourself in some kind of a creative or medical or instrumental way or musical way. If that's the case, focus on that and just always ask yourself, what is my priority? What is important to me? This is also a card of being true to yourself, knowing when to say no and knowing when to say stop, where things get to the point where you have that uncomfortable feeling. And sometimes we have uncomfortable feeling because we're scared. That's okay. If you can stop and just kind of ponder that, it's a lot better than going in and then realizing, geez, this is not where I want to be. So I see this month as full of possibilities, but it's very interesting because I'm seeing endings and at the same time I'm seeing beginnings. So I wouldn't be surprised if many of you are tying loose ends, which have been, sorry for the glare, which have been possibly you've been dealing with for quite some time. And at the same time, as you allow yourself to tie up the loose ends in whatever way that comes to you, you're also opening yourself up to greater possibilities and also greater acceptance. I'm also being asked to say, accept yourself as you are. This is no longer about you proving yourself to someone. So if you have been in a relationship and constantly you felt like you were not good enough and you were constantly proving yourself, you've got to ask yourself this question: what is it within me that makes that believes that I need to prove myself because I'm not good enough? So each person is a mirror to us, and the world will give us mirrors in order to reflect back to us what we need to heal or what we need to take a look at. So that was an important message here. And I think that's all I have for you. I look forward to seeing you in October. I wish you best of luck in the month of September. And if you would like to comment, of course, please do so. I always read them. And I look forward to seeing you in October. Take care. Bye.